and even looking at an 8-channel power amp. Tell us all about it, Mark.
Yeah, so 8 channels is a little less regular, I think, for a home cinema amplifier, and you assume this is where this amp is directed. Although manufacturers are thinking in terms of 16 channels for a 9.6, for example, home cinema. So 8 plus 8 seems as good a choice as any. But this 8-channel amplifier comes from Swedish firm Primare, who've been around since 1985. They don't have many AV products, but the SPA25 is a home cinema integrated amp, which might be interesting to listen to at some point. And this kind of is a partner product in the same range, if you like. But obviously, it's got 9. The SPA25 has 9 channels of amplification on board, and you can use a further 2 to get a 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos sound field. So that is the SPA25. We're dealing with the A35.8. It comes in at £4,500. It has a nice black brushed steel front with the Primare logo, which is etched into the center. And just above is a nice little triangular LED light to let you know that the amp is indeed on. There's only 3 steel feet under the casing, which is a bit disconcerting. So while you're connecting your cables, it can have a tendency to tip if you put too much pressure on one side or the other. But it's relatively light at 15 kilograms and not as deep as many Class AB rivals, which is a nice thing about Class D architectures in general. The 1500-watt A35.8 uses a Class D architecture as stated, and they are comprised of Hypex Encore N500 modules. Primare boasts the most direct delivery and distribution of power from the power supply to the modules, which themselves are buried in the heat sinks. Both input and output stages are isolated from any noise that the modules might produce. So they put a lot of thought into the layout of the internals of these amplifiers. So there is a lot of versatility in terms of connections, how you want to do your arrangement in your home cinema or even in your music system. You can use it as a 2.0 channel system with all pairs of inputs bridged for 750 watts per pair into 8 ohms. So I don't know how likely it is that a music enthusiast would use this amp purely as for biamping of a pair of speakers, but it is an option. I think you'll find most buyers for this amplifier will be in a home cinema context. With 2 of the amps, you could just bridge the center and a 9.x.6 config, or bridge left, center, right, and just one, and use just a pair of unbridged outputs for surround. And actually, I did use this amp in bridged and unbridged modes with my LCR speakers. And consequently, much bigger impact and heft, I suppose, would be a good word by bridging my left, center, and right. But generally, I found the sound stage was big and open. Drums and bass have brutal but honed attack. The timing is superb with what I describe as bursting transients in every bar of music. The imaging is laser-like, and there's even great depth of field or sound staging. It sometimes feels like you're even in the studio or venue, which I was amazed at. I should say the soundstage is quite forward, it's quite in your face, but I find that simply perfect for movies, even over prolonged listening. And I didn't get any of that sense of brightness that I've heard with other Class D amps, which can even be fatiguing. And I didn't get any of that. And I have to say, I'm a bit blown away. I thought this amp sounded truly wonderful, and I gave it 10 out of 10, best in class, because I thought it sounded wonderful.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, again, the review is up there. This was a more recent one, wasn't it? Beginning of August, maybe?
Friday of last week, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that one, go have a read. And if you got any questions for Martin, then shove them onto the review there. I think there's a decent conversation going already in the discussion thread. So if you've got any questions, I'm sure Martin, when he's got 5 minutes spare, will pop through and answer those for you.